All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Live Oak Brewing Company, and they are out of Austin, Texas, and this is their Pilz. So this is Austin's original Pilsner, and it's also known as a Bohemian-style Pilsner, aka Czech-style Pilsner, and it comes in at 4.7% alcohol by volume, 36 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is just over 3 months old, and I picked this one up at Halftime Beverage via halftimebeverage.com. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that I grabbed, and I grabbed 20 beers in total, 2 of which were from Live Oak, and this is the second and final beer I'm reviewing. The first one was their Hefeweizen, and if I'm being honest, that is, to date, the best American-brewed Hefeweizen I have ever had in my life, and I've heard good things about that beer for like 15 years, so it lived up to the hype. Now, this one I haven't heard much about, but if they are brewing a Hefeweizen that good, I am thinking that a Pilsner will probably be quite good. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty tasty, and I think a couple of you out there have mentioned that this one is damn good. So they have a little spiel on their website, probably posted in the description box, but they do mention that they are using Saaz hops. And outside of that, not much more to say other than it's a little bit over 3 months old. Not super fresh, but it's been in my fridge for like the last month, so we should be fine. And I'm gonna pour it in the glass here. Hopefully you don't spill it everywhere. If we do, we do. It's the Beer Patrol. You know how this goes. So we're gonna give it a nice pour here. And again, I'm going to try to go a little aggressive to get a decent head on this, hopefully. And I have succeeded in my ambitions here. So let's see what this one's all about. Now, first things first, this is crystal clear. You can see my hand and my fingers and everything through it. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it has that straw golden color, more golden than anything, honestly. Good carbonation, 2 fingers of this frothy, bright white colored head. This just looks like a very inviting Czech-style Pilsner, or Pilsner of any kind, really. It just looks beautiful in the glass. All right, so it plays the role as far as appearance goes. Let's see what the nose is all about. Yes. So to me, I've said this before, if you're relatively new to the channel, but when it comes to Pilsners, German versus Czech style are more my speed. I think they're a little bit more balanced, and I always feel like they have just more character in terms of what I'm looking for. And perfect example right here is it has this nice crackery, almost like sourdough bread malt quality, but then it's balanced out by this nice spicy Saaz hop kind of quality that is reminiscent to me of rye. I love rye. Has that like rye spiciness. Little bit of like a slight like fruity note, like a red apple, but then there's also a little lemon, maybe even further citrus wise, maybe a touch of like an orange or something. Don't usually get that. Usually it's like lemon, orchard fruits, things of that nature. But yeah, it's bready. Again, sourdough bread, crackery, and then that spicy Saaz character, a little bit of grassiness as well, floral aspect. It just smells so inviting, but like very clean, and I'm gonna want to crush this entire glass in like record time. Yeah, it plays the role. Just over 3 months old. Smells fantastic. Cheers, everyone. Yep. To me, this would be one of those beers that if I was in Austin or in Texas, or wherever they see good distribution, this would be one that I'd like to have in my fridge, because we'll talk about the price point later, but the price point's quite good on this one, and I think the availability, being in these 12-ounce cans, they're probably everywhere. But off of that first sip, it's skirting the line of that super flavorful but also quite drinkable kind of battle. Like sometimes there's Pilsners I've drank that are like, I'm one and done with them because it's so flavorful, it's so complex, it's so over the top. It's like, wow, I don't know if I want to session that. This, I can tell you off that first sip, totally want a session. Body's like, I don't know, lower side of medium, approaching medium body, 4.7%. That's fine by me, probably full-bodied or close to it for the style. The mouthfeel, it's crisp, it's clean, it's extremely refreshing and crushable. Like, again, this is a warm weather beer. Obviously, being in Texas is warm weather pretty much year round. But this would be like definite spring and summertime crusher, 100%. Again, the flavor profile really carries over from the nose up front. Sweet, crackery, sourdough, bready malt. That's the first half of the palate. Midway through, I get a little bit of that like zesty kind of lemon, a touch of like a sweet like red apple, so that orchard fruit. I could even see somebody saying maybe a pear. And then the finish, it has that spicy, almost rye spice-esque kind of grassy floral sensation. This finish is bone dry with a mild to moderate bitterness. Again, I always found German Pilsners for myself personally to be a little bit more leaning towards the bitter side of things, where I feel like the Czech style is a little bit more dry than bitter. And that's just a personal preference in terms of like kind of what I want out of this style. But anyway, regardless, if you just said this is a Pilsner, didn't specify at all, this is just a really well-made European Pilsner. Like, it's just really good. No off flavors. I can't detect anything that has won a rye in terms of like brewing faults or anything. 4.7%. You're not going to taste it. Again, this is just, it's not the best Bohemian / Czech style Pilsner I've ever had or anything, but for what it is, it's really damn tasty. So we'll do 2 ratings on this one just because I wanted to emphasize that this is a really tasty beer. So, and it's so, like I said, it's so crisp on the palate, so clean, and the refreshing nature of this one would, again, make this a warmer, a warmer temperature beer for me. Like, I would love this, doing some barbecuing or, out by the pool, going to the beach. This would be the beer if I was in Texas, for sure. But rating on the Live Oak Pilz, I will say for like Bohemian / Czech-style Pilsner, this is pretty fucking fantastic. I think it kind of hits most of the notes. It has that balance I'm kind of looking for. So I'm going to give this a low 4.5. I'll go 4.45 for the style itself. If you argue, hey, this is a 5 out of 5 for the style, or like this is the best American-brewed Czech-style Pilsner, I'm not here to argue that. I can definitely see that, and I would hear you out. Let's just say that. But personal preference, this is still going to get a high rating for me. So Live Oak's Pilz, personal preference, this is getting a high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.35. This is super tasty. To everybody who told me this was super tasty, you were not lying. This is just this is really tasty beer, plain and simple. Like, I see why these guys were hyped for many, many years. It goes without saying, because the 2 beers I've had from them, this being just over 3 months old, the Hefeweizen I drank a little bit fresher, it was like 2 months old, something like that. They're just drinking like they're 2 days old. It's insane. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you who have drank Live Oak in your lifetime, you already know what I've been missing for the past 15 years, but great beer. All right, so price point and availability. Now, I paid $3.99 for that can at Halftime Beverage, which would mean a 6-pack would be like $24 if they knocked a couple bucks off $22. Definitely not that expensive. A Halftime Beverage, from my orders, I knew that they were more expensive. It is what it is. I did get free shipping, so it kind of offsets a little bit of something I bought online. It's fine. But I looked on Google to see if there's some places that sold this, like maybe in the South, in Texas, and I found like 2 or 3. And they were all between like 10 and 12 bucks for a 6-pack. So if that is the going rate, $10 to $12 for a 6-pack of this in the South, and more specifically in Texas, yes, 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 and totally yes. That is a great price point for 10 to 12 bucks. Again, this would be in my fridge, just fucking fantastic Bohemian / Czech-style Pilsner. So yeah, great price point. Availability, I have no idea. However, I do believe they are starting to trickle into New York State. Hopefully here in the Buffalo, New York area, we'll start to see them. The first time I've seen their offerings on Halftime Beverage, I think they've made it kind of like upstate to maybe to like the Albany area at this point. So be on the lookout for their beer if you're in New York State. If you're not in New York State, I couldn't tell you their distribution. I do know if you're in the South, you can probably find their stuff definitely in Texas, maybe Louisiana, Florida, maybe even to the Midwest, something like that. But I really like their beers, plain and simple. I'm enamored with them. Now I want to try other beers from them. There's some other beers that people have mentioned that I should try, and it's like, if I can get my hands on them, sure. But I have only seen the Hefeweizen in this. But any beer I see from them going forward is a guaranteed buy and then a review without question. I'm going to do one more sip, make sure the rating is proper. Yeah, I just love that sweeter, crackery sourdough malt. And then the finish, like halfway through the palate to the finish, it has a little bit more of that fruity character, then it has that spicy, grassy, floral finish. Very dry, mild to moderately bitter. It's just very well balanced, super easy crusher. Yeah, this is a great beer. 4.35 out of 5 personal preference, 4.45 for the style. Now, if you've had this one, please post in the comment section, what did you think about this one? I still prefer the Hefeweizen. It's not fair to compare a Hefeweizen to a Pilz, obviously, but if I would say what did they do a better job with, the Hefeweizen, there's no question in my mind. That is like better than a lot of the imported German ones I've had, plain and simple. This is up there for sure, stylistically, and like, again, when you take in everything consideration, price point, availability, and all that stuff, it's even higher, because a lot of beers this good that are from like local craft breweries that come in like 16 fluid ounce cans of 4-packs, you're talking $14, $16, $18. This is $10 to $12. Even though I pay $3.99 for that can, that's the typical going rate. So yeah, anyway, kudos to Live Oak. They are 2 for 2 for me, and I can't wait to try more. Hopefully I get the chance to do so. So I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Like I said, very well balanced, not too sweet, not too bitter, not too dry. Just, I'm gonna go drink the rest of this. I'm gonna shut this review down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.